Yeah, oh yeah. Let's freaking grind it out, rock it out, pound it out, guys. It took me a little bit of time to freaking get this photograph that you're seeing here on the screen of J.R.R Tolkien. And I know that you can see what's on the screen if you're not multitasking right now, because this is an episode, this is basically a whole season of the show that's only exclusively on YouTube until I get myself back around to hopping back on Spotify with the next fresh, new, clean slate. But this photograph here was really a bitch to get going, as it's clearly got inverted colors, and then having the fucking thing go into something like of, I don't know, regular colors is just damn near impossible for me. But even though he's my favorite author, or because he's my favorite author, I'm just leaving it as it is. So anyway, let's freaking grind it out, rock it out, pound it out. This is an episode going to be totally dedicated to J.R.R Tolkien and his work, and I've added in a few clips of some videos that I've already made, as well as a song that I made with the penny whistle, the guitar, and then of course singing the lyrics for Bilbo's last song. So without further ado, I present to you the J.R.R Tolkien episode of Vault of Doom podcast with me, Mickey GemInEye.
There's ended in my heart, but journey long before me lies. There are friends, I hear the call, the ship beside the stony wall. Gold is white and waves are grey, beyond the sunset leads my way. Gold is soft, the wind is free, I hear the rising of the sea. There are friends, the sails are set, the wind is east, the moorings spread. Shadows long before me lie, beneath the ever-bending sky. But islands lie behind the sun, and I shall ride there all is done. Lands there are to west of west, where night is quiet, asleep is rest. Guided by the lonely star beyond the utmost harbor bar, I'll find the haven fair and free, the beaches of the starlit sea. Ship by ship I seek the western fields and mountains ever blessed. Farewell to Middle Earth at last, I see the star above your mast.
Alright, so this clip is gonna be something the notes on the pictures read to give you a further in-depth look at this book, because this is a song book and it has pictures on them that are exclusive to the book. So in this clip you could see me narrating the different photographs, the different illustrations on here, like the dragon, and then what it also does is also reference to the trilogy itself. It even references to each book of the trilogy where these photographs are these illustrations are taken from, and where the references from the song. So the song is from the book. It's basically just a song from the books. The song sums up the three books in that it's Bilbo's journey when Bilbo was venturing. So when you can get this in-depth look and see this notes on the pictures being narrated by me, I'd rather not just have me narrating the whole thing, as it's literally it's a 10 to 12 minute thing. So what I'll do is just actually end up talking through the whole thing until we get to the history of J.R.R Tolkien, and that's where I'll have something else added in for you guys, something special. And as for the actual like finding of this book is where I'm going to start. That I just was looking like really puzzled when I found out that there's a book called Bilbo's Last Song, and the whole thing is a song. It's just containing the lyrics to Bilbo's journey through Middle Earth, and then when he makes it back, he's singing this song, and that's how the song ends. Is that he's like, his journey is done. He's made it back to the Shire, and then he, is reflecting and recollecting his voyage. So, basically, like the whole thing is important to get into the details here on that. Who did the illustrations? What the illustrations are referencing to, and then all these that you can see on the screen here with the parentheses H, page 19. That's Hobbit, page 19. For example, Gandalf sat at the head of the party with the 13 dwarves all around, and Bilbo sat on a stool at the fireside. That's when all those guys were saying, break the cracks, crack the spoons and break the plates, because that's what Bilbo Baggins hates. And then I don't know if you guys have ever seen the movie, the original animated movie of The Hobbit from like 1990. It's extremely old school, and you just can't beat it. Otherwise, what you would be talking about would be something like the new Hobbit. It's like, all right, cool, but this is not what I grew up watching. I grew up watching the animated movie, the animated film of The Hobbit, where it has Gollum all in the darkness, and Gollum actually looks scary. Something about the new Lord of the Rings films and all the stuff that's new, for some reason Gollum doesn't look scary at all. So if you would look at, I'm not asking so much of you that you should actually like be a child, unless you're a viewer that is a child. This episode could actually be recommended for kids if I didn't drop the F-bomb and say the S word at the beginning. So it's actually not recommended for children, but just in case, if your parents don't care, and if you drop one F-bomb or an S word on a video and you're watching this, that would be basically what I'm not asking you to do is to like reference what I'm saying through the eyes of a child, that you'd watch the old Hobbit animated film and then see if Gollum is scary or not. But like I said, I'm just going to be commentating a little bit here through the notes on the pictures. You can read the stuff while I'm talking, and then just have my voice be kind of background babble while I'm doing this. But it's all referencing to all the different books, and then the company with Elrond and them guys, all the dwarves, Bimber, Bofer, Philly, Killy, Thorin, Oakenshield, the only human in the company, and that's I think that's Fellowship of the Ring, and it just has all of here. Return of the King, page 308. Riding behind on a small gray pony was Bilbo himself, and that's where the photographs are in here as it goes along. It doesn't show each illustration, and I don't have the actual book on this portion of the episode, but what I'm going to have to do is have the actual illustrations, all the illustrations and all the pages of the book after this commentary. so that you can kind of see this, get into this, and then maybe find some interest, take some interest in this, and go out and find this book yourself. And then you don't have to obviously go to such great lengths as singing it like I did. I mean, I'm sitting there. I know you might be thinking the song wasn't very metal, and that's true. It's not very metal. It's literally not metal at all. There's nothing metal about the song at all. But that's not what I wanted to say anyway. What I meant to say is that the penny whistle looped. But I mean, as for that song, actually performing the song, looping the penny whistle's not a problem, as I'm playing the guitar play through constant all the way through, and then I'm singing the song, and then I have these the pages on there. You can actually see the pages again. So after the commentary, don't get too excited. It's literally just going to go by in a flash. It's just going to be the blip of an eye that I'm going to flash through all the pages real fast, and then this is a complete episode. I want to make sure that I'm dedicating this to the author as well as the illustrator, and also give a huge shout out to what this episode is in the middle of right now, because I just did an interview with an artist that has Lord of the Rings themes on their music from another country, and then another country, and on the next episode after this, there's another artist that's also doing Lord of the Rings and Tolkien themes from another country. So I want to try my best to dedicate this to all the people that support Tolkien, and all the people that support metal, and all the people that support, independent artists. And it's a big shout out to everybody working really hard to do this. I know I see one of my people that I follow on X commenting a lot on how hard this is, how much work and time that you have to put into doing this, and that it eventually pays off, and it can do a number on your mental health and all that. So if you're one of those people, I want to make sure that you keep going, and just big ups to you, big shout outs to you for powering through it, because this is not easy. So let's look at what we have on the rest of this commentary here, with all the references from the stories of The Hobbit, where we're at now. So illustration 1 and 2 on this page, on this portion, is all The Hobbit, and it's the storyline of The Hobbit. And then after this, we'll get into Return of the King. A lot of Return of the King references here. And what's cool, it's something that I'm thinking about too, is just that Bilbo wasn't on the journey. Actually, I'm gonna have to rewatch the trilogy really before I can do too much talking on that, because honestly, you would think Bilbo was just stayed in the Shire, was at the Shire, came back from his journeys, wrote that book called The Never-Ending Journey, or The Trail Back Home, or There and Back Again was the name of the book. There and Back Again. And then that's when, he made his journey alone, and then he wrote There and Back Again, and then Frodo, his nephew, goes out on the journey. And that's where you have the Return of the King here reference. And I don't know, I don't think Bilbo's there, but he's the storyline here in the song and in this book, he's taking part in that part of the storyline. And that's where you go back to The Hobbit again. There's some, I know I can recall some Fellowship of the Ring, but the Two Towers, I don't think there's much. If there's any references to the Two Towers in these illustrations, there might be like one, because it would say TT page whatever, and so it's just The Hobbit, Fellowship of the Ring, Return of the King, but a lot of Return of the King. There's Return of the King again, and The Hobbit again, and yeah, so just kind of zooming in if you need to, if you must, to see these kind of illustrations by Pauline with the war right here. This is when Smaug attacked Esgaroth. And then it continues on here, and So, and another thing too to add into the commentary, it's really important, is if you look at the time frame that they're in the year Shire Reckoning is how it's referred to. Shire Reckoning 3021. And then they have like, and then Tolkien wrote it so that they have like a regular calendar, January through December. So it's September 29th, 3021 Shire Reckoning. And that reference is always made in there. So anyway, that's all the commentary for you guys. Thanks to the subscribe. I'm giving a shout out to the ones that I have written down here, but it's not over yet, as I'm going to be reading what is in this book about J.R.R Tolkien. So shout outs to Libby app for helping me provide, my local library for helping me provide with this. All Lord of the Rings nerds for people being interested in this that I found on X and YouTube. Shout out to my local radio station that has a folk channel, folk show. This is Creative Commons. I'm providing this video free of charge. And so, now, all about the author and illustrator here. We have J.R.R Tolkien. Was born in 1892 in Bloemfontein, South Africa, but came to England with his mother at the age of 3.5. After serving in the First World War, he became a distinguished professor of Anglo-Saxon studies, later of English language and literature at Oxford University. His first work of fiction, The Hobbit, was published in 1937. Lord of the Rings, his masterpiece, took 12 years to write and was originally published in 3 volumes between 1954 and 1955. Tolkien said this of his great work, "It is written in my life blood, such as that is thick and thin, and I can do no other." The author died in Oxford in 1973. That's what was written about J.R.R Tolkien. Now let's read about Pauline Baynes, illustrator. Pauline Baynes was born in Hove, Sussex in 1922 and studied at Farnham School of Art and later at the Slade. Her association with Tolkien began when he chose her to illustrate Farmer Giles of Ham, and she went on to illustrate several of his books, including The Adventures of Tom Bombadil, Smith and Wotton Major, and Tree and Leaf. As well as being Tolkien's favorite artist, she was also chosen by C.S. Lewis to illustrate the Narnia books. Thank you to the viewers for your support. It was truly a privilege and honor to be a part of Tolkien and his work. Even if I did have to put it together alone, you're never quite alone when you're reading books. And the way that this episode was put together, I'm just hoping that you guys can get as much out of it as far as Tolkien goes, for that is the theme of the episode. But because there's a bunch of the stuff that I do not know yet, I have provided you this. Those are each as much of a clip as I could play from each of these artists without having any copyright issues, hopefully. I can't imagine that there would be any issues, but I'm gonna go for that much and then see. Anyway, the actual special surprise for the end of this episode, it's actually just gonna be something a lot less crazy than doing what was covered in here. But first, let me get to this. Finishing up, obviously, that the 3 artists that you can look for their content. You can look for their albums. You can listen to the albums from these artists and they're gonna be all names in Elvish. Starting from the top, Eldamar is Elvish for Elven Home. Curated Angren is Elvish for Jaws of Steel, and Amon Amarth is Elvish for Mount Doom. So the links are in the show notes. I'm not going to be able to read this link to you. You're going to have to go to the show notes, click that link there, and it'll take you directly to what links that I have for you. It looks like the ones, let me tell you about that real quick, what it is. The link for the Eldamar is going to be the interview that I did with him. Links, multiple, there's 2 for Curated Angren are going to be Season of the Mist. Of the Mist. Like an old-timey person, everything is like the Walmart. Like an old-timey down south. We're down south now. Or even up north. Down south, up north, same thing. Whatever. Anyway. Season of Mist. The label Curated Angren is on the YouTube channel. Link is available in the show notes. The music video for Frankenstein Stradae Montanos is available on this show notes as well. The Amon Amarth, probably just gonna, I don't even have it listed on the screen here, but it's probably gonna take you to Amon Amarth's YouTube channel page. So now in fucking finale, the special surprise is just gonna be, well, cluing you in on what I can provide for you here on this show, as that's really what it was. What the special surprise was me saying I don't know all the books that this author wrote. So maybe the only thing that the surprise is going to be is just me telling you that I'm going to bring you along with me on the journey of discovering all the other books that this artist wrote. I know I sound kind of pissed and upset, but hey, it's a little bit upsetting that I have to sort of wrap my mind around grasping the concept of this and just stipulating this and saying this in a very coherent, easy to understand, easily digestible manner. As I read these books that this author wrote, the videos therein, the videos will arrive thereafter. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense, because I'm very excited about doing this. I'm very pumped about getting the potential support for doing this, and that is what you and I and we can all have to look forward to. Thank you guys for watching. End segment commenced.